Good morning. A couple of new people have just joined us. We do have it as 11 o'clock and we'd like to start on time. Both Daneel and I have tried our very best to keep the content to the hour that you've allocated to us today. Welcome to today's webinar. Today's webinar is slightly different than some of the other typical webinars that we do, because today we are looking at the state of design and make, and specifically focusing on some AI, artificial intelligence insights. We'll kick off the day, or the session at least, with some introductions, and then look at the 2024 State of Design and Make report and highlight 4 key insights specifically around artificial intelligence. And then I think this is possibly why a lot of you have joined, because we have a fairly full house today, is look at the Autodesk AI, both in terms of its history and its capabilities, and then drill down into industry. We'll actually start off with the architecture and engineering space, also look at construction and what's happening in the manufacturing side, close off with a summary, and then we will also allow some questions and answers. I imagine that there may be quite a few during today's session. For those of you who aren't too familiar with Baker Baynes, if you are not deeply ingrained into our Baker Baynes family and community yet, thank you for joining us today. From a Baker Baynes point of view, I like to say that we focus on 3 core elements. A lot of you know us as the Autodesk partner. So from a software and a hardware point of view, yes, we are an Autodesk Gold partner. We have also partnered with other well-renowned and reputable technology brands within the space. And then the 2 aspects that I'm particularly enthusiastic about is the consulting and educational space. From a consulting point of view, we have a focus on people, process, and business assessments, whether that's doing BIM consulting, common data environments, data management, CAD/CAM, and also simulation. And then education. We were one of the first partners to bring a online learning system and really blended learning to the industry. We are also an accredited Autodesk Classroom Training Center, and we do focus a lot on customized type of training engagements, and also allowing our software users and our clients to thrive by doing self-paced e-learning. And of course, we do this for multiple different industries, both from a building, civil, process, energy, mining, and manufacturing point of view. To kick us off further with the introductions, my name is Jani Viljoen. I'm one of the directors at Baker Baynes, and I head up the architecture, engineering, construction, and then owner-operator space, as well as the professional services team. I've done many different types of roles and things in the past 10 years, from being a webinar host to doing some BIM consulting and managing my professional services team. But my core, and the thing that I get most of a kick and fulfillment out, is working with construction and project ecosystems in terms of managing their data and implementing common data environments. And with me today, I'll let Daneel introduce himself.
Thank you, Jani. My name is Daneel Ballaram. I'm also a director at Baker Baynes, but I head up the manufacturing and process, energy and mining sector. I've been in the Autodesk industry for over a decade now, and my background comprises of, from a technical as well as a sales consulting perspective, areas of expertise within the manufacturing and PEM segment. As you can see, I enjoy all things mechanical, and my little mechanical car in there. So I have qualifications in mechanical engineering, but also recognize proficiency in AEC manufacturing as well as data management. Now, to kick us off today, I'm going to start off firstly with the safe harbor statement, and I wouldn't read the entire safe harbor statement to you, thankfully, but we'd like to highlight the first point. Some of the statements that you hear today may be forward-looking statements regarding planned or future development of the Autodesk technology. So the idea behind this is not to go out and make purchasing decisions based off what you see today, because some of it may be future or forward-looking. So let's kick it off and let's start. So let's get into it. AI. Autodesk defines artificial intelligence as a computer system to perform tasks requiring human intelligence. AI enables humans and computers to work better together, only because computers excel at spotting patterns in large data sets. helping humans cut through complexity and find new solutions to challenges. And we all know that, and I think we all see that with the way that we work with AI today. And we know that AI is here to stay. There's been widespread adoption of generative AI tools like ChatGPT, for example, which are revolutionizing productivity across various industries. We know and understand that companies are increasingly using AI to automate routine tasks, augment their workflows, analyze data, but also allowing employees to focus on more complex value-added activities. Overall, we can all agree AI is reshaping how we work, offering tools that can enhance productivity and job satisfaction, however, only when implemented thoughtfully. Now, let's take a little step back into it. Here are some ways that AI is changing the way we work. Firstly, job creation, right? Contrary to fears of widespread job losses, AI is actually expected to be a net job creator. According to research, nearly half of the companies surveyed believe AI will create more jobs than it displaces, particularly in sectors of automotive, aerospace, and technology. Secondly, shifting skills as a skill requirement. So AI is becoming more embedded in the workplace. There's a rising demand for AI-related skills. This shift is led by many workers upskilling independently, with the significant increase in people adding AI skills to their portfolios and personal profiles. And finally, if we look at it, refining work processes, AI is also changing how we work, how we get things done, making processes more efficient and allowing for workers to focus on high-value tasks. Now, these articles are available to you on request, so should you need them, you can just pop that into the chat, and I'm sure it will make great reading.
Thanks, Dee. There you go, so that you can see me again. Thank you, Daneel. As I said at the beginning, is today, in terms of some insights, we're specifically looking at the 2024 State of Design and Make report from Autodesk. This is a report that they do annually. They look at close to 6,000 different industry leaders in manufacturing, architecture, engineering, construction, and media and entertainment space. And it's not just an American report. They surveyed and interviewed multiple different leaders across multiple different regions, which you'll see come out in some of the insights that they're going to show to you. But to just get a holistic idea of what this report is all about, we're going to show you a little bit of a video.
In today's challenging world, leaders in design and make industries are blazing a trail to a better future. And this is how they're doing it. For the second year, Autodesk surveyed industry leaders to discover the key factors driving change and presented the findings in the 2024 State of Design and Make report. Business challenges have shifted in the past year. Cost control is now the main concern for business leaders across industries, taking the lead over finding and retaining talent. Nevertheless, optimism is on the rise, with 73% of respondents feeling prepared to handle unforeseen changes. And with good reason, corporations are outperforming expectations year over year. Advanced digital maturity is a key factor in this trend. Companies that embraced new technologies reported 34% higher performance. And maybe unsurprisingly, AI is a standout, with over half of companies approaching or already achieving their integration goals. And the outlook is mainly positive. 66% agree that AI will become essential, and 76% now trust AI in their industry. They are using AI to boost productivity, address the skills gap, provide design options, and automate routine tasks. Overall, companies are making strides in their AI journey. Although upskilling is seen as essential, 40% are struggling to implement training programs as they lack the skills or resources to create them. Despite these hurdles, companies are adopting a multifaceted approach. Digital maturity emerges as a key factor for attracting talent, while sustainability is a top retainer. And some companies are even using AI to bridge the talent gap. Sustainability has become an essential business strategy. An overwhelming 97% have taken action to improve their efforts, boosting pride in company initiatives. Sustainability proves valuable for short and long-term growth, and 70% of companies now see it as a modern business requirement, not just a passing trend. And the number one action companies are taking to be more sustainable in 2024? You guessed it, AI. Businesses are regaining confidence, embracing digital transformation, prioritizing talent development, and striving for a sustainable future. These findings reflect a collective determination to shape a resilient and sustainable world for everyone.
Okay, so that was a really, really insightful video from a stats perspective. But let's jump into it and get further into that, right? In the last 3 years, 72% of organizations surveyed have increased their spending on AI as an emerging technology, with 27% reporting a significant boost in AI funding. Important to note, the trend isn't slowing down. 77% of these organizations are planning to further increase their AI budgets over the next 3 years. And a key statement here from Stefan List from Airbus highlights that this growing commitment to AI isn't about adopting new technology, it's about staying competitive. He emphasizes that making targeted investments in AI is essential for preparing for the future, ensuring that it meets unique needs and requirements for a business. This raises an important question. How can AI help our organization maintain its competitive edge? Stefan believes that understanding AI's full potential is crucial, no matter which industry you're in. If we jump into more of the report, organizations are betting big on AI. Yes, from the report, it's clear that investment in AI and emerging technologies is on the rise. In fact, 32% of AECO organizations are planning to significantly increase their spending in these areas over the next 3 years. When it comes to the industry leaders, design and manufacturing is leading the way with the highest planned investment in AI and emerging technologies over the same period, which for me makes perfect sense as we see a rise in AI automated factories and production lines. And this indicates an exciting time for innovation and growth. And then from a perception of digital maturity, AECO we see is quite high, despite the rapid progress we've seen in AI, especially with the third wave of achievements and advancements. We're still much closer to the beginning of this journey than the end. This is because the perception of AI maturity can be somewhat misleading. Even though AI is still relatively new to many industries outside of tech, companies often believe that they're further along the AI adoption than they might actually be. For instance, when asked about the organization's maturity of using AI for design or operations automation, nearly 42% of respondents from the AECO industry felt they were very mature, with another 41% considering themselves of an average maturity. Increasingly, maturity levels seem to be higher in the Americas, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, but lower in the Asia-Pacific regions. The perception and the knowledge gap. Here, what's even more fascinating is the confidence many have in their progress towards AI and the implementation goals. While 48% believe that they're nearing their goals, another 8% say they've already achieved them. However, it's important to note that while many organizations and their goals for AI may be modest right now, there's a noticeable gap between how close companies think they really are to their goals and the rapid pace at which AI and the technology is evolving. The real benefit is yet to come. Experts are thrilled about explosive expansion in human capabilities driven by AI. Greg Corrado describes this as the democratization of AI's potential, unlocking exciting possibilities for everyone. And the survey data backs this up. 78% believe AI will improve the industry, while 79% expect it to increase productivity. However, it's important for leaders to go beyond just looking at productivity gains. They need to focus on leveraging AI for meaningful insights results. And if we look at the perception and knowledge gap, the survey data shows that there's a gap in understanding the full benefit of generative AI beyond just productivity. This is particularly true when we look at the advanced capabilities of deep neural networks, which far surpass human abilities. Let's look at generative AI. generative AI brings several key benefits for businesses. Firstly, it enhances our ability to generate insights. More people within a company can now interact with an AI model directly, asking questions and getting answers without needing to go through data scientists or machine learning engineers. While those roles are still essential and quite important to every business out there, AI has become more accessible to everyone involved. Secondly, it speeds up the time to value. In the past, deploying an AI application meant building a model from scratch, which was expensive and time-consuming. Now, pre-built models, you can create a working prototype within days rather than months, dramatically cutting down the time it takes to see the value of that application. And we all know that AI is seen as a game changer, and this is across multiple industries. As seen as the game changer, according to the survey, 24% of people strongly believe AI will improve their industry. The benefit of AI goes just beyond making things more efficient. It's expected to help with better design decision-making, improve workplace safety, analyze tasks, and of course, take over repetitive tasks. Michelle Lee, who previously led Amazon Web Services Machine Learning Lab, explains that generative AI speeds up enhanced human capabilities, helping businesses innovate faster. Leaders need to think beyond just productivity. AI can provide valuable insights and creativity that may be otherwise overlooked. And we believe that this challenges or changes the way we view AI, not just as a tool to make work easier, but a catalyst for major changes across all industries. Do you agree with that, Jani?
Definitely. Then one of the four insights that we wanted to highlight about this report, I did paste a link to the full report that looks at all different aspects in the chat box if you look forward to reading more about that. But getting and staying ahead of the AI curve becomes very important. Like Daneel had mentioned, it's almost like the AI goalpost is always moving. As soon as you think, oh, I figured out AI, well, the new thing is already there. So because AI is moving so fast, it's becoming more and more important for these industry leaders to have people where their core role or core function is to stay ahead or on top of the AI evolution. So it's no longer just some of the bigger companies that are looking at staying ahead of the AI curve, but most of the survey respondents actually agree that AI and the ability to understand what it's all about has become a workplace skill. The ability to implement and work with AI has actually been ranked for one of the highest hiring decisions in the next 3 years. And next we'll look at what data looks like. So this was the question here to the survey respondents was, what are you prioritizing in terms of what you're looking for hiring over the next 3 years? And as you can see there, 41% was the ability to implement and work with AI. I do want to just highlight one or two of the other things because it kind of ties into the readiness and the maturity for implementing AI, which is things like digital design skills. There's also something around data analytics, data mining, data insights, and further down, it talks about the knowledge of data safety and security. So in addition to having these in-house skills that leaders say, you really need someone to focus on implementing and working with AI, there's the question to go, well, how can you become ready for that? And in this lies, because the success to AI lies in data, before you can start exploring AI, make sure that easiest way to phrase this is make sure that your own house is in order. Make sure that you are on top of your data and how you are managing your data, where it is, how can you access it, is it structured in a specific way? Because that is what we found, and also what the insights in this report shows as almost like the stepping stone for becoming ready to fully jump into AI.
So I think next we've got something really exciting for people online.
Got a poll. I'll go ahead and fingers crossed, because this is not artificially launched. This is there's an actual person, which is me, who needs to go and launch this.
So disclaimer, we're not using AI for this.
It's telling me that it's live, so I'm hoping that it's live. I think that the delegates today? Yes, I'm getting thumbs up. Wonderful. That means that you're seeing it, and then you can go and answer that. This is a very broad question because I'm just asking you, do you trust AI? That would very much depend on what your opinion is about AI and how much exposure you've had to that. So I'll give it another couple of seconds and then we'll look at the results. I'm getting thumbs up, so I'm hoping that that also means yes. Okay, at the moment we've got, I'd probably say about, oh, it's changing. I'd probably say about 60 to 70% of who we have online have answered, with 40% yes, 40% no, maybe, and 20% no.
Interesting.
So that's a good one. I need to probably, I'm going to go and answer my own poll question too, so that my results can be captured. There you go. Great. You can go to the next bit. So let's look at, well, this was your response, but 76% of the respondents from this specific survey say that they trust the use of AI in their industries. Now, fair enough that do you trust AI is quite a big, broad question. If I had asked you, do you trust AI in your specific industry, your question may have become a little bit different. But as we know, this enthusiasm of there's something new, it can make our lives so much easier, doesn't come without concerns. There's a lot to say for AI as a tool to innovate, but there are also some potential risks or things that we need to consider. So let's have a look at just what are kind of the thoughts and the feelings from the data around the confidence in AI. The question to the survey respondents here was, do you basically, I'm rephrasing, but do you have confidence in your company to make the right decision for your company and the role that you're in? So 32% of the AECO respondents, architecture, engineering, construction, owner, operator, said that they are that they strongly agree, that they are confident in that, and actually higher from Daneel's industry, with 37% of the design and manufacturing respondents saying, I'm confident in my company and that they will make the right decisions regarding AI. What I did want to highlight is just if you have a look at that per region, again, similar pattern emerges, quite high in the Americas, not so high in Asia Pacific. So we're talking Asia, a little bit of Australia and the islands, but fairly high in the emerging and Middle East and Africa markets. But whilst a lot of people trust AI or trust the leaders within their industry and their organization to make good choices, there is this kind of burning question around, yes, AI is an industry destabilizer. You see designs and you wonder, or perhaps you're seeing Daneel and my slides today and going, did they create that themselves or did they actually use AI for their AI presentation? But the question is, who will monitor this? I think at least in my space, from an AEC point of view, nothing really bad has happened so far with AI. There's a couple of things that are trickling through online about deep fakes and those types of things that is potentially very risky. But the question here is like, who's responsible for managing this? Is it the creators of whichever platforms? Is it the users, organization, governments? I know that from a Baker Baynes point of view, at least from an organizational side, we're working on creating AI guidelines so that people at Baker Baynes have a specific framework that they can work in, that hopefully limits the risk, but does not put a limit on the innovation. So surprisingly, in terms of a lot of people trust it, but 40% of respondents do believe that it will completely destabilize the industry. If you look at that, you can just, there you go. If you look at that for AECO and D&M, slightly more individuals strongly agree that it will destabilize the industry from architecture, engineering, construction point of view, with 14% in design and manufacturing. They seem to be kind of the most confident, most, yes, bring the new tech, let's use it industry. And then quite a bit higher in media and entertainment. I think in terms of media and entertainment, you can see that it's the lowest. Some of you may have heard in the news over the last couple of months and years that there's been a little bit of a challenge in Hollywood, with a couple of people being specifically concerned about, copywriting, screenplay, IP, and AI's involvement in that specific industry. I don't really think that that really affects a lot of us online today, but there is still a sense from the industry that whilst we agree that it's great and we trust it, we need to be cautious of how it destabilizes the industry and how we can use that to our advantage. Then I just wanted to share this with you. I mentioned to Daneel before, some of the other quotes are from the likes of someone that used to work at Amazon or someone that used to work at Airbus. Just in terms of the company SMEC, it may be at least an organization that more of us are familiar with. So the digital engineering practice lead at SMED, his kind of opinion around technology is that, yes, it's an advancement and it's a breakthrough, but this really sits on the shoulders of all of the other things that we've done to this point, the other technologies. And I want to relate that it is an industry-specific one, but if we think of building information modeling and data and document management, that is almost the shoulders that the AI will sit on. So AI on its own isn't going to take over the world. If we want that to help us, and if we want to be confident in that, we need to interact with that as a building block and use these other enabling technologies too.
Okay, thanks, Jani. That's really, really insightful. So where does Autodesk fit into all of this? And what is Autodesk's history of AI, right? And this is something I'm hoping to share and hoping to get the message across, or where it comes from an Autodesk perspective, as well as from a design perspective. So over a decade, Autodesk has conducted and published original peer-reviewed research in artificial intelligence, because they recognize the transformation and the power of AI in the industries that we serve. But we have to talk and ask the question, where did AI start and how far has it come? Well, to start, most people agree that the field of study was kicked off with the convening of the Dartmouth Conference in 1956, all the way back in 1956, whereby a small group of scientists gathered at the Dartmouth Summer Research Project on Artificial Intelligence, which is believed today to be the birth of the research of this field. Following this, a paper outlining the concept of neural network was published in 1986. And then impressively, in 1997, IBM's Deep Blue computer defeated Garry Kasparov, the reigning world chess champion at the time, which marked a significant milestone in the history of artificial intelligence. More recently, OpenAI was founded in 2015. Now, OpenAI is the parent company of ChatGPT. And the first piece of legislation around AI, the AI Act, was passed in the EU in 2021. However, this said, Autodesk first began sharing their research on AI and generative technologies with the academic community back in 2009. And what does that timeline look like? So first, the first paper in 2009 explored the possibilities of developing evolutionary algorithms that would help design and optimize design for specific traits like strength and weight. And it considered dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of potential different design variants. The first algorithm focused on physical-based generative design. Also, in 2009, a team of Autodesk researchers published a paper titled Physics-Based Generative Design that examined the potential of interactive form-finding simulation. Then, in 2017, Autodesk began publishing research on generative AI. Autodesk research demonstrated that generative AI technologies were viable for real-world applications across the design and make industries. In 2018, Autodesk officially published an AI lab to conduct fundamental applied research in AI and machine learning. By now, impressively, the research team had published more than 50 peer-reviewed academic papers on AI-related discoveries, making Autodesk's AI Lab the world's leading publisher in AI research for 3D geometry and design. And many of you may have heard of this or seen of this, but we're here to tell you about Autodesk AI. So Autodesk AI is transforming the way we work today, enhancing creativity and problem solving. And that's what it's there for. It's built for that idea of not having to do tedious, repetitive tasks, freeing your time or the design time for more valuable work. At the same time, it provides individuals and teams with powerful analytical tools to make better and more informed decisions. Integrated into the Autodesk products like the Design and Make platform, Autodesk AI is not only boosting productivity, but also empowering industry leaders to be more ambitious and creative in the work that they do. So what's the AI mission? So of course, Autodesk AI mission is a thing, and Autodesk is fully committed to the AI mission that they're investing in and in innovating with AI to help customers meet demand, all while doing so responsibly. And I think the responsible aspect, as Jani mentioned earlier on, trust is a big thing, right? So how do we trust something if it's not responsible or if there's no mission or vision that's backing that up, right? So let's jump into some of the capabilities, which we'll show you as we go along. The widespread adoption of generative AI tools like ChatGPT, sorry, it's a bit of a tongue twister, which are revolutionizing productivity across industries. Companies are increasingly using AI to automate routine tasks, and we know that, right? Augment workflows, analyze data. Employees are now focusing on more complex value-added activities. So how does those capabilities translate into the industries that we serve? So firstly, we look at from an AECO perspective. In the AEC, Forma's AI-powered generative design site study and predictive analysis and analytics help make more informed planning decisions right from the conceptual design phase, which is great. In construction, Construction IQ uses AI to automatically analyze data stored in Autodesk Construction Cloud, helping to identify and prioritize risks on site. That's really, really cool. So if you know what's happening on site, you can see it on your dashboard, you can see it on your system. It's easier to mitigate those risks moving forward. From a design and manufacturing perspective, Fusion's automated modeling speeds up the design process by offering editable design alternatives to the designer. So that's really great. You've got multiple various options that you can work with because it's using AI to actually automate the modeling processes for you. And from a media and entertainment perspective, generative scheduling is cutting down production times and boosting productivity. And we know that the scheduling does not take up quite a bit of time within the media entertainment space. And this is just the beginning. The next part of the presentation will dive into many ways that Autodesk is applying AI to applications that we use today. And Jani is going to take us through the AI section in the AEC side.
Yes, thanks, Daneel. For this, I do require a quick change over in screen sharing. So give me one moment. There you go. Daneel,
Yes.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Go ahead.
Great, for my study. Wonderful. So I wanted to just highlight a couple of the top capabilities for Autodesk AI in the AEC space. Some of these you may be familiar with. When I looked at this, I almost had to stop to go, oh yes, that's AI. You almost take it for granted. What I do enjoy about this, a lot of it is not taking away your creativity, but really helping you do the more mundane tasks. The first being the rapid noise analysis in Autodesk Forma. When it comes to acoustics, now this is coming from a person who has a deaf family member and also someone who works in an open office, you sometimes underestimate just how important acoustics and noise is. It's got a big impact on the wellness of a building, the sustainability of that, and how buildings function. So in terms of the Forma rapid noise analysis, it will give you a sense in those early stages without having to go to someone who's very specialized in this field to get a sense of what does the noise pollution and noise aspects and how does that affect your early stage design. Next, another one from Forma, rapid wind analysis. We know that this also is traditionally quite hard to achieve if you aren't that expert in terms of, you can't put a building through a wind tower or through a wind tunnel like you can in the manufacturing space, Daneel. And again, for those early design stages, you can use the data and the intelligence from Autodesk Forma that works through machine learning to get a better understanding of whether that is how well does your public spaces work, how well does it work for cyclists, and what other effects it may possibly have on your buildings and designs. And hopefully make some good informed decisions in the early stages of a project that will help you at a later stage. Last one from Forma. Now, this is where it kind of does start helping you a little bit more with the actual design, but the explore or auto-generated site layout. And this really tool gives you a early stage, what we sometimes refer to as going through these iterations and the ideas of what can work. And again, this is not just randomly AI doing designs for you, but you do give it a certain framework and certain metrics that it needs to fulfill. So that could be area, parking spaces, access to natural sunlight, whatever the case may be. But a great way to speed up that early stage conceptual design by looking at multiple different options. There is also a embodied carbon for Forma, which is currently in beta that they're working on. So that ties into the safe harbor statement. It's in beta. Fingers crossed. Okay, let's go next slide. Then let's move to some of the things that the engineers may be more involved with. So info drainage, which is part of Autodesk's water solutions, have the machine learning deluge tool. If I'm mispronouncing that, please feel free to correct me afterwards if we have a chat. It is a French word, and my understanding is that it actually talks about flood of water. So what this does is traditionally, in terms of doing these kind of like flood analysis, it requires quite a lot of data. You need to go and put in your high points and your low points. But with info drainage machine learning algorithms, it's been trained on more than 10,000 traditional simulations, and then it helps to identify the patterns, and it helps to go and pick up those low and high points to look at your water analysis, making it a lot easier to have more informed engineering in terms of how do you handle with your storm water and sewage water and so forth. Then for the Dynamo users out there, if you think about something like the recommended nodes, if you are not very familiar with recommended nodes, my layman way of explaining this is it's almost like a autocomplete when you're typing. So Dynamo is now adding the recommended nodes. It does use a ranking method that's powered by machine learning. So what is the most common kind of next one that makes sense in terms of triggering that autocomplete? It works or supports both Revit and Civil 3D, and basically it speeds things up. And it's quite a sophisticated way if you are learning Dynamo to help you get to that next point or next node, or alternatively, if you are running some scripts and there's a couple of things that's not working, to make the good choice for that specific port. This has actually been around for a while in terms of Revit or project generative design. It's improved a lot because as AI and machine learning does over the years, kind of if you think about machine learning, if it's learned for 5 years, it's getting a lot better. But in terms of Revit's generative design, it enables you to use complex data sets and multiple different metrics and outputs, and then ask Revit or Dynamo to come up with different solutions. This, I was going to say, became quite popular towards the end, or not towards the end, but kind of in 2020 with COVID, when everyone had to look at social distancing. So it was a fast and easy way to look at space optimization, putting in those metrics of everyone needed to be, I can't even remember how far, a couple of meters away from one another. The bottom aspect, which also helps and ties back into the sustainability aspect and just generally how people use buildings and facilities, is looking at something like natural light and saying, this is my office, this is what I need, this is the space, the amount of occupancy I need, and please make it as pleasant as for everyone so that they have some access to natural light. Then, surprisingly, something that I'm a very big fan of, and I think a lot of you may have seen this and may not have gone, oh, that is actually AI, is my insights. I don't use Revit as often as I would like, and every now and again I use it, and I forgot a lot of the tips and tricks and tools and things that someone may use if they use Revit quite frequently. So the Insight dashboard looks at how you are using the application and sends you monthly emails. I believe that you can also access this in the Autodesk site or in product of how you can improve your use. So it could be something like, instead of always using the group tool to get a better view, have you tried using isolate and those types of things? So as you can see, it gives you an idea of your most used commands. This is very useful in terms of recommendations for those small improvements that saves you a couple of seconds a day, but over the long run just makes your productivity so much better. Let's look at some of the things for AI in construction. Just a note, this is not an extensive list of all of the capabilities. There's a couple of things that's either on roadmap or in beta. For construction, Daneel alluded to this. If we think about Autodesk Construction Cloud and the Construction IQ project, or AI that they have in Autodesk Construction Cloud, there's a lot of data in Autodesk Construction Cloud. The idea is that if you are managing this correctly, that you'll have multiple different data inputs. But this vast amount of data really is only valuable if you can make informed decisions about it. And often it's quite difficult to digest that if it's not visually displayed in something that's easy to understand by most. Construction IQ looks across your construction cloud platform and put this into actionable, easy to digest dashboards. Like you can see, it gives you a good idea of where are some of your high risks issues, what's happening with your design reviews, safety factors, and so forth. Quite widely used, actually. Something that, again, it's small, but it just makes life so much easier if you consider the photo tags in Autodesk Build. So with Autodesk Build, both on the web page and on the mobile app, you can take photos, whether that's tracking progress for your construction project or whatever kind of stage in construction you're on, upload that. But having 10,000 photos become quite difficult to go and find 5 years down the line if you haven't tagged them. And going to type in rebar, drywall all of the time, there's a much faster way of doing that. So with this, it's on a lot of our phones. If you take a picture of a plant, it kind of picks up that it's a plant, and you can go and see what type of plant that is. Same thing applies to the auto photo tags, saving you time to not go and type in electrical conduits every time you take a photo of one. And then takeoff. If you're not familiar with takeoff in terms of doing quantity takeoff, what they now have, it's a newer feature, is automated symbol detection. So instead of having to go and count every single door, diffuser, plug point, whatever else the case is, it looks for the same or similar symbols, helping you to do your takeoffs in that manner. I was surprised when I read this, because I thought, of course it can do that, but then I had to go, of course, that is part of Autodesk AI. It's AI capability, is the automated plan processing. This has been around from the BIM 360 days. Now in Sheets in Autodesk Construction Cloud, when you upload a document, you typically have a title block. Your title block has multiple pieces of very valuable information that ultimately needs to become an attribute to that specific document. And this is a way that they use AI to go, let's make it easier for you to upload documents, read out the information, and then go and process that plan and have those attributes.
Oh, thank you, Jani.
Over to you, Daneel.
Let me stop take sharing. Control. Okay. So D&M. Okay, so thank you for that. That was really, really insightful from what's happening in the AEC space. From a design and manufacturing space, I think let's start off with the first area where AI is being really used and is transforming the way we work, is the Form Explorer in Autodesk Alias. Now, having used Alias in the past, I can tell you this is a really, really cool feature that's been implemented. The Form Explorer tool in Alias makes design faster and easier. And how? It helps you explore 3D automotive concepts quickly with the smart design support. Using AI, it boosts creativity, speeds up your approvals, and cuts out unnecessary steps. Now, it gives you instant feedback while you're working, so you can create designs that are unique to what is required at the time. This tool lets you focus on being more creative, and we know that when you're working specifically in the automotive side of it, creativity is quite a thing, and understanding what the creativity needs to do from a design perspective, having that extra time is just so helpful. Next, we look at the Fusion automated sketches. Now, for me, this is one of the very, very nice features in Fusion. So automated sketch constraint feature takes the hassle out of sketching, specifically when you need to have a fully constrained sketch, right? And often we find that that becomes a challenge downstream. And this works in both areas, 2D as well as 3D. It also saves you time, reduces the manual effort that you've got to put in, and also prevents mistakes downstream in your design. By applying these constraints accurately and consistently, it improves the quality and the reliability of your design. Now, and anyone in manufacturing would know that when you start a design that needs to be used downstream, specifically in a manufacturing or machining environment, this is where the integrity of the initial design sketches become important. And by having this being taken care of by AI, it helps us downstream. We'll still keeping with Fusion. The drawing automation, I think this is also a really, really, really nice tool, because we find that Fusion uses AI to make the creating of 2D manufacturing documentation a lot quicker and a lot easier. It cuts down the time that you spend on creating these drawings, which often is seen as a non-value add, right? This automation boosts productivity speeds, reduces waste, as well as avoids defects by simply automating the documentation within Fusion. While still keeping with Fusion, and one of my favorite is the CAM assistant. So basically, if you're new to using Fusion CAM for machining, or if you are a seasoned machinist but new to using Fusion specifically, the CAM assist in Fusion is really, really helpful. It makes creating toolpaths simple by just using natural language commands. It cuts down the time that it takes to go from design to production. The built-in assistant helps manufacturers work faster, with more flexible, while also reducing defects and ensuring precision, right? And this does it all by automating the toolpath processes within the application. Following to that, Generative Design has been around for many years now and quite widely adopted in the manufacturing space. However, in Fusion, it uses advanced algorithms to create performance-based optimized parts, giving you hundreds, if not thousands, of different iterations of the design. And what's really, really cool within Fusion, it also gives you a prediction of how are you going to manufacture it. So often you might find that we're using both methods, additive as well as subtractive manufacturing, and you could have a hybrid of both as well within the application. Next, I'm going to move on to AutoCAD. So AutoCAD has got some really, really great AI adjustments added to it all the way from 2023 up until the latest 2025 release. And the first one is the Macro Advisor. The Macro Advisor in AutoCAD uses machine learning to analyze how you work and give you personalized suggestions like useful features, macros, and tips, right? And it's there to help streamline repetitive tasks by suggesting ways to automate them, saving you time and, of course, the effort by doing it. By spotting opportunities to improve your workflow, it helps you maintain consistency and deliver high-quality results within AutoCAD. Next area of improvement from an AI perspective in AutoCAD was the markup and import markup assistant. Very, very helpful tool, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree that the markup import and assist make collaboration easier by letting you bring back feedback straight from PDFs or printed documents into AutoCAD. I think that's amazing, right? So previously you'd have to scan it in, convert it to a raster, from a raster to a vector, and then bring that into AutoCAD. Now AI detects and converts feedback like red lines or notes into the objects that can be directly added into the drawing, which is really, really great. This automation speeds up the revision process, so you can spend more time solving problems, creativity, instead of doing manual data entry. The next within AutoCAD is also a really, really cool feature, which is the smart block, so the object detection. So here, AutoCAD uses AI-powered smart blocks. So the object detection scans the drawing to identify objects and convert them into blocks, eliminating time-consuming manual processes to go and physically create them. This feature improves drawing consistency and quality by automating the cleanup of imported files from non-AutoCAD formats, which I think is really cool because it's a great time-saving tip here. It helps designers save time by focusing on more valuable tasks and cutting down repetitive tasks and errors. Following on to that is the smart blocks, and keeping to smart blocks is the search and convert. The search and convert tool scans your drawing to find similar objects and organizes them into block libraries. Really, really great, right? So if you've got multiple blocks or you're working with multiple blocks within AutoCAD, by using the smart search and convert tool, it'll do it for you automatically. It makes it easy to standardize your geometry. So if you're working with standardized content, work with that. It also helps boost the efficiency of the AutoCAD workflow process within the application. And then while keeping to blocks, there's the blocks replacement. So smart blocks, again, the replacement tool uses AI to help designers easily identify and swap out objects or blocks in the drawing for newer versions. Now, it suggests the updates are based off machine learning. So it uses recently used blocks or manual substitutions. It's an option-based workflow. And this automation reduces the time spent on updating your documentation, updating your blocks, as well as updating the drawings, and gives you more time for more accurate catch-ups with end-to-end workflow. And it also allows designers to stay focused on the creativity that's required when working in the AutoCAD environment. And from an AutoCAD perspective, and that's the last one that we looked at from the smart blocks. Jani, you've got a poll that we're going to look at again.
Yes, so another poll before I launch that. What you've seen today is what's readily available. It's there, it's out there. There's quite a variety of things from an Autodesk point of view that's in beta, and a couple of things that's on the roadmap. Both Daneel and I saw some incredible things on the roadmap at Autodesk University last year, but we don't want to get you all too excited about that just yet. But this is already readily available. Now, let me go and launch my next poll. Just go and find it here. Having been introduced to this and hopefully now having a better understanding of what Autodesk AI so far is all about, would you use Autodesk AI? Doesn't seem so scary.
It doesn't. I don't think. I think a lot of the features have been there over the last couple of years, and we've been using them, not knowing it's AI that's been driving it, or machine learning that's been driving it. So it's a nice question.
I did see 1 or 2 thumbs up. I believe that this is also in the chat box if you're not sure where to go and find the poll. And I will leave it for a moment just to allow everyone to, okay, see the responses coming through. No one's saying no so far, so I guess that's good. We're sitting on about just over 90% saying yes, and then some saying maybe. I did see a hand up. If you do have questions or comments, please feel free to either put them in the chat box or the Q&A box, and we'll get to them at the end.
Okay, so I think Jani's got some really, really exciting news coming up next.
The poll should still be going if you haven't answered that yet. I am also quite happy to tell you, I know that today was quick and it was for all different types of industries. So maybe you wanted to know more about AutoCAD or more about Forma or construction or water solutions. Keep your eyes out for communication from us. And if you haven't visited tools.bakerbaynes.com before, that is our transformation tools website where we have multiple different pieces of, as our CEO refers to it, micro content. So from courses to templates to ebooks, the majority of which is free, so that's great. But go and visit Transformation Tools to see what is available already, and then keep your eye out for our ebook. Our ebook should be out in February, and our ebook will introduce you to the Autodesk AI capabilities and give you a more comprehensive idea of what's available and more or less how to get started with it or what to expect from that.
So with a couple of minutes remaining, I think we can open up for some questions.
Yes, definitely. I don't have an official question slide. If you wanted to get in touch with us, you can see our contact details on the screen, but let's I can tell you the poll so far. It is in the chat box, but in terms of which you use Autodesk AI, 93% said yes, 6% said maybe. Would like to chat to those maybes to see, or what are you weighing up there? And let me have a look at the chat box also and the Q&A. I'm not sure, do you see any questions from your side?
Not as yet.
No. Okay. One of the questions that I had in conversation this week was someone kind of asked, like, how much does Autodesk AI cost? Because you hear Autodesk AI and you think it is a product,
a paid-for product.
Yeah, like ChatGPT or Revit or something. Autodesk AI is multiple different things that, for the most part, from what you've seen today, if you have access to AutoCAD, Daneel, am I correct in saying that you have access to what you've shown us today?
It's available today, yes. It's available within the AutoCAD applications. So in your collections, in your AutoCAD, including specialized tool sets, you have that access to it. It's been around for probably a year and a half now, or almost going on 2 years. And if you're using Fusion, on the other hand, you've got access to that on the latest update.
So most of what we've shown you today, if you have the application that we refer to, whether that be the Revit Construction Cloud, Inventor Fusion, AutoCAD, these AI tools are there and available for you. Let's see, I have a comment. I wonder if this comment has a question also. Not a question, Tubi, but we definitely welcome some appreciation too. If there's no further questions, or if nothing comes to mind right now, thank you very much for joining us today. We hope to engage with you more in the future. Also hope that you'll be downloading our ebook. If anything else comes to mind later, or you want to have a conversation not today, let us know. I do see 2 hands up.
Yes. Pierre Hutting and Wesley.
Is that a hand up? You're giving me a high five, or is that a hand up? You have a question? I wonder if I can unmute you. I can allow your mic. Wesley, if you do have a question.
I do have a question.
I've allowed your mic and we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we're lighting manufacturers, and obviously we compete a lot against imported products. Does AI, is it integrated into the Inventor software so we can see where we can possibly reduce material? Because obviously, because we manufacturers and we use aluminium for our heat sinks, the cost is more than the importers' products. Is there a way that Inventor can look how we can reduce material costs and increase surface area so we can manage the heat generated by LEDs? Is there some sort of function that AI can do to help us with that process?
Look, there is a feature within Inventor, Inventor shape optimization, right? That's been there for a little while now, which will allow you to reduce material usage within the design. But it's case by case. So we've got to understand where you need to reduce material, where you need to increase material from a surface area perspective, and how do you want to dissipate that heat that's being generated within the design. It is a standard feature. It doesn't necessarily use AI specifically. It's more related to machine learning within the application.
Okay, thank you. But I'll have a discussion with you at a later stage regarding this.
Sure.
Thank you for that answer.
Thank you.
Thanks. If we can either bring this webinar to a close, or, I mean, from Daneel's side, are you open to going, okay, guys, we'll allow mics, let's chat. But if you've got questions.
Yeah, I think we've got a minute left, so we can take a few more questions should you have that. But if not, you can always get in touch with us on screen, and we'll be happy to pick up a conversation afterward, like Wesley has suggested.
There's unfortunately no AI solution to making your Friday go faster.
Yeah.
So
and the weekend go slower.
And the weekend go slower. But if you come across that, please share with us. Great.
That's it. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.